Hello everybody, I am Dr. Sanjay Shah, Department of Anatomy, GMC, Bettiya. Today I am going to teach you parotid region. It is area of face lying below the ear which is occupied by parotid gland. So this parotid region is considered as bed of parotid gland. You can see this atlas. The area 10 is parotid region. You can see this atlas. This parotid region is occupied by parotid gland. Now comes to boundary of parotid region. This outline represents the parotid region. It is bounded anteriorly by the posterior border of the ramus of mandible and muscles attached on it, that is masseter muscle and medial pterygoid muscle. The posterior boundary is formed by sternocleidomastoid muscle and mastoid process. Superior boundary is formed by the temporomandibular joint and external acoustic meatus. By these two structures form the upper boundary or superior boundary. The inferior boundary is formed by posterior belly of digastric muscle and stylohyoid muscle. And medially the parotid region limited by the styloid process and muscles attached on it. You can read the boundary of parotid region from here. Now comes to content of parotid region. There are two main content. First one is parotid gland and second one is facial nerve. These are the salivary glands, large salivary glands. Among these, this one is the parotid gland, which is the largest one. And in this atlas, you can see the branches of the facial nerve, and this is the parotid gland. The facial nerve is also known as queen of the face. Now comes to the detail of parotid gland. It is largest serous salivary gland. It is exocrine gland. Its weight is 25 gram. It is situated in the parotid region below the external acoustic meatus between the ramus of mandible and sternocleidomastoid muscle. It overlies anteriorly on masseter muscle and posteriorly on sternocleidomastoid muscle. You can see the gland in this atlas. This is the parotid gland and this is the masseter muscle. This is the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Now comes to the covering of the parotid gland. The covering of the parotid gland is called as capsule. There are two capsules, inner true capsule and outer false capsule. First, inner true capsule. It is formed by condensation of fibrous stroma of the gland. And the outer false capsule is also known as parotid sheath. It is formed by a splitting of investing layer of deep cervical fascia into two lamina, superficial and deep lamina, which enclose the gland. The superficial lamina is strong, thick and adherent to the gland, and the deep lamina is thin and attached to a styloid process. It is thickened to form a stylomandibular ligament. This stylomandibular ligament separates the parotid gland from submandibular gland. One important point about the parotid sheath is it is tough structure. It cannot expand. So when there is swelling of parotid gland in case of mumps or in case of bacterial parotitis, there is severe pain due to hard, tough, unyielding parotid sheath. In this diagram, you can see This is the investing layer of deep cervical fascia, which splits into anterior lamina and posterior lamina, and it is thickened to form the stylomandibular ligament. In this atlas, you can see this is the stylomandibular ligament, which separates the parotid gland from submandibular gland. Now comes to the external feature of parotid gland. It is three-sided inverted pyramid having apex directed downward. It is a wedge-shaped gland. It is wedge-shaped gland. It has three border and four surfaces and some processes. The three borders are anterior border, posterior border, medial border. This medial border is also known as pharyngeal border. In this atlas you can see this one is the anterior border marked by this arrow. This is anterior border. This is apex. This is posterior border, and medial border directed towards the midline or mid sagittal plane. Now comes to the surface. There are four surfaces. Superior surface. Here you can see this arrow indicates the superior surface directed upward. It is also known as base of the gland. And the lateral surface, you can see this area marked by red arrow. This is the lateral surface or superficial surface. Now comes to anteromedial surface and posteromedial surface. These are two surfaces directed medially. The gland has some processes. The gland has some processes. The processes are the projecting glandular part beyond its limit, beyond its shape. There are several structures either enters into the gland or exit from the gland through its apex, border and surface, and these structures forms relation to the apex, border and surface, and we have to remember the name of that structures, the name of those structure. Now comes to apex. The apex is directed downward and it is related to following structures: cervical branch of facial nerve, two division of retromandibular vein and formation of external jugular vein. In this atlas you can see this is the apex. This is the apex, and this one and this one and this one are the related structure. Now comes to anterior border. It is thin border. It rests on masseter muscle and it is related to following structure: zygomatic branch of facial nerve, transverse facial vessel, upper buccal branch of facial nerve, parotid duct, lower buccal branch of facial nerve, marginal mandibular branch of facial nerve. You can see the atlas. The large yellow circle indicates the relating structure of the anterior border. I am repeating once again. First one is zygomatic branch of facial nerve. Second one is upper buccal branch of facial nerve. Third one is transverse facial artery and vein. Fourth one is facial process of parotid gland. Fifth one is parotid duct. Next one is lower buccal branch of facial nerve and marginal mandibular branch of facial nerve. Similarly, the posterior border rests on the sternocleidomastoid muscle and it is related to following structure: posterior auricular nerve, which is a branch of facial nerve, posterior auricular vessel. And next border is medial border, which is directed medially towards the styloid process, towards the pharynx, and it touches the wall of the pharynx, so it is also known as pharyngeal border. In this atlas you can see the smaller yellow circle which represents the structure at the posterior border. Now surface of the parotid gland. First of all, we have to know that the cross section, transverse section of the parotid gland is triangular. It has three border: anterior border, you can see this is anterior border, this is the medial border, and this is the posterior border. And it has the surface, this is the lateral surface lying between anterior border and posterior border. This one is the anteromedial surface lying between anterior border and medial border, and this one is the posteromedial surface lying between posterior border and medial border. Now comes to this atlas. Here you can see the actual cross section picture of the gland. Here this one is the anterior border, this one is the medial border, and this one is the posterior border. So this is lateral surface of the gland, and this is the anteromedial surface of the gland, and these two curve is the posteromedial surface of the gland. Here you can see this one is the posteromedial surface of the gland. Now details of the surface. First one is superior surface. It is also known as base of the gland. It is also known as base of the gland. It is directed upward. It is concave and related to following structure. First one is external acoustic meatus and posterior part of temporomandibular joint. Second structure is temporal branch of facial nerve. Third structure is superficial temporal vessels, and others are auriculotemporal nerve, which is branch of mandibular nerve. In this atlas, the black circle shows the relating structure of base of the gland or superior surface of the gland. You can see once again the black circle indicates or represent the relating structure of the superior surface of gland or base of the gland. Now the lateral surface, it is also called superficial surface. It is the largest surface of the gland, and it is covered by skin, superficial fascia containing the posterior fibers of platysma muscle, superficial group of parotid lymph nodes, and great auricular nerve, and also covered by the superficial lamina of parotid sheath, and it is embedded by the deep parotid lymph node. Next is anteromedial surface. It lies between anterior border and medial border. It is deeply grooved by the ramus of the mandible. It is related to posterior inferior part of masseter muscle, lateral surface of temporomandibular joint, medial pterygoid muscle, and the emerging branches of the facial nerve. In this atlas, you can see the red circle. This red circle represents the anteromedial surface, in which you can see the ramus of the mandible. This is the ramus of the mandible, this is medial pterygoid muscle, and this is masseter muscle, and these are the five emerging nerves of facial nerve. Now posteromedial surface lies between medial border and posterior border. It is related to mastoid process, sternocleidomastoid muscle, and posterior belly of digastric muscle. Also related to styloid process and its muscle attached on it. And the facial nerve and external carotid artery enters the gland through this surface. The next structure is internal carotid artery lies deep to the styloid process. In this atlas, the blue circle represents or shows the posteromedial surface. This is the posteromedial surface, and related structures are the mastoid process, posterior belly of digastric muscle, sternocleidomastoid muscle. Here is the styloid process and muscles attached on it, and you can see this is the facial nerve enters into the gland through this surface. This external carotid artery also enters into the gland through this surface. Here you can see this is the internal carotid artery lying medial to the styloid process. This is styloid process and this is internal carotid artery. This is the lateral surface which is covered by skin, superficial fascia and its content, and the superficial lamina of the parotid sheath, and some lymph node is embedded here. Next is parotid duct, which is also known as Stensen's duct. You can see this is the parotid gland and this is the parotid duct. This is the parotid duct. It is thick walled duct. Its length is 5 centimeter. It emerges at the anterior border of the gland. Its course is it runs forward on the masseter muscle, then moves medially through the buccinator muscle and again moves obliquely forward to open in the mouth. It has oblique course through the cheek. It opens in the oral cavity opposite to the crown of upper second molar, and teeth are counted from anterior to posterior. Here you can see the opening of the parotid duct in the oral cavity. Now, relation of the parotid duct. Superiorly, it is related to accessory parotid gland, transverse facial vessel, upper buccal branch of facial nerve, and inferiorly it is related to lower buccal branch of facial nerve, buccal pad of fat, buccopharyngeal fascia and buccinator muscle. Again you can see the parotid duct marked by the black arrow. Now comes to process of parotid gland. What is process? It is some part of the gland extend beyond its pyramidal shape, or some part of gland extend beyond its limit, beyond its boundary. This extended part, projected part of the gland forms the process. First one is facial process. It is triangular projection of gland extending forward onto masseter muscle along the parotid duct. You can see this is the facial process. Facial process. Next is accessory parotid gland. It is detached part of the facial process situated between zygomatic arch and parotid duct. This is the accessory process. Next is glenoid process. It extends upward between external auditory meatus and capsule of temporomandibular joint. This is the glenoid process. This is the glenoid process. This is temporomandibular joint. This is external acoustic meatus. In this atlas you can see accessory parotid gland. This is the accessory parotid gland. Here you can also see the accessory parotid gland. Next is pterygoid process. It extends from deep part of the gland between mandibular ramus and medial pterygoid muscle. You can see the pterygoid process. Here is the pterygoid process. This is the masseter muscle. Next is pre-styloid process and post-styloid process of the parotid gland. These processes are extended part of the gland towards the styloid process of bone. The pre-styloid process related to internal carotid artery and post-styloid process of gland related to internal jugular vein. Next is carotid process of the gland. It lies behind external carotid artery. You can see this is the external carotid artery and this is the carotid process of the gland. Now comes to structures within the gland, from medial to lateral or from deep to superficial. This is the parotid gland, this is the ramus of mandible, this is the mastoid process, this is the wall of the pharynx. Means this is the medial side and this is the lateral side. You can see a structure within the gland from medial to lateral are external carotid artery, retromandibular vein, facial nerve, parotid lymph node. You can see the traveling of the artery and vein is vertically, while the traveling of nerve is horizontally through the gland. You can see this is the artery, external carotid artery, this is the retromandibular vein, this is the facial nerve. Now comes to details of structures within the gland. First is external carotid artery. It lies in deepest zone of the gland. It ascends and divides into two terminal branches, superficial temporal artery and maxillary artery. It gives other branch also, such as posterior auricular artery and transverse facial artery. These arteries supplies the gland also. Now retromandibular vein. It occupies the intermediate zone of the gland. It is found by union of superficial temporal artery and maxillary. It is found by union of superficial temporal vein and maxillary vein. It ends by dividing into anterior and posterior division. Now comes to the very important structure, facial nerve. It comes out from the stylomandibular foramen of the cranium and it enters the gland through the posteromedial surface and it passes around the isthmus of the parotid gland. The facial nerve inside the gland lies in a plane and the name of plane is pataes faciovenous plane. Once again, pataes faciovenous plane. It can be asked in viva. This facial nerve divides the gland into two parts, superficial and deep part, which is connected by isthmus. The facial nerve divides into 5 terminal branches named as temporal branch, zygomatic branch, buccal branch, and its subdivision is upper buccal branch and lower buccal branch, and fourth branch of facial nerve is marginal mandibular branch, and last one is cervical branch. All these branches comes out from the gland as a goose foot pattern, also known as pes anserinus. Pes anserinus. You can see the atlas, the first atlas showing this is the parotid gland and these are the terminal branches of the facial nerve. You can see the pattern of the terminal branches is such like है ना, goose foot pattern also known as pes anserinus. The facial nerve lies around the isthmus and it divides the gland into superficial part and deeper part, and the plane of the facial nerve is known as pataes faciovenous plane. Other structure within the gland is parotid lymph node. Now comes to blood supply of the gland. It is supplied by external carotid artery and its branches within the gland. You can see the atlas. And the veins of the gland drains into the external jugular vein and internal jugular vein. The lymphatic drainage of the gland. The lymph of the gland first drains into superficial and deep group of parotid lymph node and then it goes to cervical lymph node. You can see this is the parotid lymph node, and arrow shows the towards the cervical lymph node. Now nerve supply of the gland. The parotid is supplied by parasympathetic nerves, sympathetic nerves, and sensory nerve. Parasympathetic comes via auriculotemporal nerve, which is secretomotor nerve. When stimulated, it increases the secretion of the gland. And sympathetic nerves derived from plexus around the middle meningeal artery, and it is vasomotor in nature. Now sensory nerves to the gland comes from auriculotemporal nerve, and sensory nerve to the parotid fascia comes from great auricular nerve. Now development of parotid gland. The gland is ectodermal in origin. It arises from angle of primitive stomodium or primitive mouth. In its initial phase, it grows laterally between mandibular pharyngeal arch and its maxillary process. In the atlas, you can see this is the stomodium. This is the stomodium. This is the stomodium. This is the mandibular pharyngeal arch, and this is the maxillary process. And the intervening connective tissue septa of the gland is derived from mesodermal cells or mesodermal in origin. Now comes to applied aspect of the parotid gland. First is parotid swelling due to inflammation. It is very painful condition due to tough facial sheath of the parotid gland. Next is mumps, a very popular term mumps. It is viral parotitis. It is non-suppurative swelling of the parotid gland. It is very painful condition, and it shows some complication when it occurs in young adult person. First is orchitis. It is inflammation of testis. Ophoritis. It is inflammation of ovary. Pancreatitis. It is inflammation of pancreas leading to pain abdomen. And next, it also involves the auditory nerve leading to deafness. It can infect the brain leading to encephalitis. Next is Frege syndrome or auriculotemporal syndrome. In this syndrome, there is sweating, redness, flushing in the parotid region during the eating process. Next is parotid calculus. It is a stone in the parotid duct or a stone in the parotid gland. It can be diagnosed by clinically or can be diagnosed by investigation sciallogram. Next is parotid abscess. You can see the arrow mark showing the swelling of parotid gland in case of parotid abscess. It is due to infection from mouth via the duct, and it can be drained by horizontal incision below the angle of mandible. It can drain by horizontal incision below the angle of mandible in order to save the horizontal branches of facial nerve. This method is known as Hilton's method. Next is mixed parotid tumor or pleomorphic adenoma of parotid gland. This is atlas showing the swelling of parotid gland in case of mumps. This is atlas showing of sweating and flushing of parotid region in case of Frege syndrome. Now details of Frege syndrome or auriculotemporal syndrome. Sometimes penetrating wound, penetrating injury or surgery of the gland leads to damage of auriculotemporal nerve and great auricular nerve. After injury or after surgery, during process of healing, the secretomotor fibers of auriculotemporal nerve grows out and joins the distal part of great auricular nerve, through which through which the secretomotor fibers reach the sweat gland of the facial skin. When due to which or as a result, when patient eat, there is a stimulation of secretomotor fibers to secrete saliva. Simultaneously, these nerve fibers which has reached to the sweat gland also stimulate the sweat glands for sweating, which results into the sweating in the parotid region. This condition is also known as gustatory sweating. It is associated with redness and flushing also. Here you can see this is the secretomotor fibers supplying the parotid gland, and after injury or after periodictomy or after surgery, the secretomotor fibers grows up and goes towards the sweat gland. So here you can see the cross connection of the secretomotor fibers to the parotid gland as well as sweat gland. When these fibers stimulates, it secretes saliva as well as leads to sweating in the parotid region. Here you can see parotid calculus in the parotid duct, and proximal to it there is dilatation of the duct and the inflammation of the parotid gland. Now you can see the atlas of mixed parotid tumor or pleomorphic adenoma. This is the tumor, this is the tumor. It is benign tumor and most common type of salivary gland tumor. It has mixed nature tissues. It has mixed tissue like epithelial tissue and mesenchymal cell tissue. It can turn into the malignant tumor. Once again, mixed parotid tumor, it is benign tumor, most common type of salivary gland tumor. It has mixed epithelial cell and mesenchymal cell component. It can turn into malignant tumor. Thank you. Thank you to everybody. Thank you.